This is WXTX Fox 54 weather with Derek Kincaid.
We've had 2 days in a row of some very active weather, but tomorrow we think things calming down quite a bit. Now for your drive to school or work tomorrow morning, things looking pretty good. Still going to stay warm and muggy. There'll be a few clouds out there, and yes, maybe some patchy fog in spots, but temperatures will be holding in the 70s, and we do expect another big warm up by tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk more about that forecast in a moment. First, a look at some of the showers that we have left out there. And there's not a lot left out there tonight. Unlike last night when we had numerous showers and thunderstorms dumping heavy rain and gusty winds, just one lone storm crossing out of Taylor County, now well to the east of Butler. That is just about to move out of our viewing area as a whole, and things for now very quiet. Now going back to earlier this afternoon, about 6 hours, we had that long line of showers and storms. Some of those were severe at times, pushing down to the south and to the east, but for now the valley is high and dry. And we look off to the north and the west, and we're just not finding anything else that's going to come down our way. So for the rest of tonight, we will forecast a partly to mostly cloudy sky, with conditions starting to improve by tomorrow morning. Now there is some drier air up to our north and west. That filters down in here tomorrow. That should mean some lower humidity values for our Wednesday, and also a rain chance that will be very, very low. So we are not expecting a repeat tomorrow of the kind of weather we've had out there over the past couple of days. We'll talk about our rainfall totals that we've seen out there over the past 36 hours. It has been a very wet period, of course, here in the valley, where we are noticing those orange colors, those pink colors. That's indicating anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain, and in some cases a little bit more than that. The Columbus Airport has seen over 4 inches of rain in the past 2 days. We've also seen heavier rainfall amounts in northern Barber County, parts of Chattahoochee County near Fort Benning, picking up some very heavy rain. So we did need to see that. It's cut our rainfall deficit in half. But for now, it looks like a stretch of some dry weather coming up for us. Our Wednesday, again, starting off on a dry note as we head into the afternoon. We are not expecting those showers and thunderstorms to pop up during the heating of the day. So tomorrow, a little different with the drier air in place across the valley. Today, we still made it up to 95 degrees despite the showers and storms. So we still got up there rather warm this afternoon, but some changes on the way for the next couple of days. As we check temperatures right now, we are looking at mainly 70s out there thanks to the rain-cooled air. Now, for the rest of tonight, we should drop down to about 73 with the rain chances early on, 96 and a mostly sunny sky for tomorrow. For Auburn and Opelika, 72, lower humidity by the afternoon tomorrow. Their forecast high in the mid-90s as well. And we're really not expecting big changes for Thursday or Friday. Rain chances stay rather low. Those temperatures stay rather warm. And for the weekend, just in time for the weekend, maybe a better chance of a shower or a thunderstorm Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, more rain, possibly.
Possibly, yeah, but hopefully nothing like we've seen over the past few days. We needed to see the rain, but not the flooding.
Yeah, you're right about that. Bring on the rain, though.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you. Families around the nation are in mourning as the bodies of U.S. troops return home.
But now a big question remains, how will these elite soldiers be replaced?
That story plus more when we return, but right now you're taking a live look at our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Window World.
It was a very somber day at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware.
The bodies of 30 American troops were brought back home, the victims of a helicopter shoot down in Afghanistan over the weekend. It was the greatest loss of American lives in one incident since the start of the Afghan war.
And as Brian Todd reports, the loss is taking a major toll also on the U.S. military.
A devastating loss for families, friends, and teammates. The 22 SEALs killed in Afghanistan were part of a unit that's elite even among the SEALs themselves. It's officially known as the Naval Special Warfare Development Group. At various times, it's been called SEAL Team 6.
How tough is it going to be to fill the void of these 22 guys on SEAL Team 6?
Well, it's going to be a challenge, there's no doubt. I mean, just to be a U.S. Navy SEAL from the point you want to volunteer till you're in combat the first time is about 3.5 years.
And, says Ryan Zinke, at least another 2 years of training and deployments to be on SEAL Team 6. As a member of that team, Zinke tracked down war criminals in the Balkans in the 1990s. Zinke and other former SEALs tell us SEAL Team 6 members are taken from the ranks of other existing SEAL teams, and that half of the men who try out for the team wash out. These are commandos who routinely go on very precise capture or kill missions for high-value targets like Osama bin Laden.
How do they think on the battlefield that's different from other SEALs? What do they do that's different?
Well, you know, a large part of it is you have to identify a threat, and oftentimes it's at a moment's notice. In an instant, you have to determine whether or not that individual is a threat or whether he's not. And if he is, you have to engage. These individuals can shoot exactly what they aim at. They make that judgment in an instant, and they're lethal at what they do.
According to former SEALs, there are about 200 members of SEAL Team 6. That means the helicopter crash in Afghanistan took away about 10% of the unit. I spoke with military analyst Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer about how the team in Afghanistan could be shored up.
Are they going to have to shuttle guys in from elsewhere, from other SEAL units?
There's one of two ways they'll do the replenishment. First off, they may have to degrade the mission in Iraq to bring people out of the existing mission there and move them over to Afghanistan. The problem with that, of course, is things in Iraq have not been as stable as people would like them to be. Therefore, you're degrading that mission. The more likely scenario is that they'll move one of the standby units, which are training up to go in, to move them in ahead of schedule.
So tragic. Elite soldiers, too. Well, coming up next in sports, the NCAA has made their decision regarding Jarvis Jones's eligibility at UGA. So will he have to sit out again? Kristen has more in sports.
This portion of the news is sponsored by McDonald's. Now, 1 hour earlier, this is Fox 54 Sports with Kristen Gold.
Jarvis Jones has been cleared to play football this season. Today, the NCAA agreed with the internal investigation by the UGA Compliance Department that determined that Jones's relationship with former Parks and Recs employees Shelly Stevens and Tony Adams is what the NCAA calls a long-standing relationship. Therefore, any benefits provided by Adams and Stevens are not considered preferential treatment. The investigation by UGA started last month when police reports into the Parks and Rec scandal found Jones had received free flights to Los Angeles after he signed with Southern Cal. Coach Mark Richt praised the NCAA for their swift decision, which comes just 1 week after Georgia's recommendation. And speaking of Georgia, with an influx of new players, some of the vets moving around. Shaw alum Bruce Figgins switching positions this year from tight end to fullback. Mark Richt saw the hole on offense and decided to fill it with size. 6'4", 242. Figgins towers over the other backs. But even being new to the position, he's listed first on the depth chart and has become the leader on the backfield. It's a move both he and Rick think is advantageous for the Bulldogs.
You know, football is football. Georgia is Georgia. So, you know, I like it. I love it. Being just my 5th year, you know, being able to play more and being able to have that leadership role, you know, it means a lot. You know, it does a lot for your confidence.
He won't quit playing tight end because he still knows what to do at tight end, so there'll be times he'll line up at a tight end, times he'll line up as a fullback, and because of that, you know, defenses won't be 100% sure of what type of set we're in, so I think that'll be an advantage for us too.
Georgia with a lot of options, and Figgins expected to get a lot of playing time. And it's time for the Auburn coaches to see what they have to work with in the second day of pads, the first of 2 days. The conclusion after this morning, not happy.
Yeah, the way I look at it as a unit, you know, and as a team altogether, it was a rough practice for us. You know, the effort from everybody wasn't quite there. You see guys flashing here and there, but as a unit, you know, we weren't where we need to be, and that wasn't great Auburn football.
I think they're tired. You know, I think, you know, it's to that point in 2 days where you really got to push through mentally. I think they're trying to do it physically, but it was the mental part today that I just was not pleased with.
We had a couple mental mistakes, but the thing that Coach Chitt said, you know, the mistake that we're not making is not being physical enough. And as long as we keep being physical, I feel like we can, you know, we can build off of that.
Auburn will scrimmage tomorrow in Jordan-Hare Stadium. And coming up this Friday, football is back. You get to see Julio Jones' debut when the Falcons take on the Dolphins at 7:30 right here on Fox 54. And the Braves and Marlins, after a 1-hour rain delay, Braves up 3-0, and Dan Uggla, 30-game hit streak. It's now the 3rd longest in Braves history. Keeps going. He's already halfway to DiMaggio. That's where people start to pitter out. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's a lot better than earlier this season.
Oh, yeah, but his average is still about 220 though, so even with this hit streak, so I think the Braves fans are hoping that goes up soon too.
As long as they win.
Yeah, that's
right. Thanks, Kristen.
Well, a Georgia husband is left to take care of a half-dozen special needs children.
This after his wife suffers a stroke. Find out what complete strangers did to help him out. The answer when we come back. But first, here's a live look at downtown Atlanta. Beautiful.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Dodge Ram Trucks.
She was just special. I don't want to downplay anything that happened today. But the bottom line is, I go home alone.
A widower left to raise 6 adopted special needs children alone told the world he didn't want to seek help. Will Stark, you see there, was handed more than $200,000 worth of gifts and cash at a radio station in Atlanta Monday.
Wow. Well, Stark and his wife Cheryl had taken a short getaway trip a few weeks ago to celebrate his new job after being out of work for a year and a half. But his wife's sudden death from a stroke left him unable to take the new job because he now had to care for the kids alone. Now, the Starks had 3 daughters of their own on top of the 6 special needs kids they adopted. Wow, an amazing story.
God bless him.
Absolutely.
God bless him. And he has, too, with that money.
Yes,
and,
sure.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. The weather looking wonderful tomorrow as well. We've got some changes from the wet weather of the past 2 days. Dry for your Wednesday. 96 or forecast high. So still hot. We think humidity values also lower.
But humidity lower. I like that. I heard that. Thanks for watching, everyone.